All right, everybody, welcome back to the Haunted Beard. We are finishing up our VHS series review. I'm going to be ranking all four movies, and in addition to that, I'm also going to be ranking all 16 individual segments for the entire series. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. So, starting with the movies, at number 4 is VHS Viral. This thing is atrocious. After that, there's it's like VHS Viral, then there's like 50 Feet of Crap, and then there's the next movie, okay? VHS Viral is the worst by a long shot. So that's number 4. Coming in at number 3 is the original VHS. Number 2 is VHS 2. And the number 1 spot is VHS 94. I liked this one the best. I think it's the most consistent. It might not hit the highest of highs, but it is the most consistent throughout. So that is my quick ranking. But let's get into the actual individual segments. So, as I said, there's 16 segments. I'm not going to be reviewing sort of the introductory segments for the 4 movies, sort of the segment that's used to sort of set up the rest of these segments. I'm not going to be talking about those. So without those, you've got 16 total segments. So let's jump in. Number 16, the worst thing I seen, and I hate to say it, but it was BONESTORM from VHS Viral. The reason why I hate to say it is because Benson and Moorhead, the directors, I think are some of the best directors in horror working today. But man, they just totally missed with this one. This thing is it's just a mess. The dialogue's terrible. The acting is not good. The editing is it's nuts. In not a good way either. It's not scary. The kills are it's just bad. So yeah, that's number 16. I don't think I actually ranked this when I was talking about, when I was doing my VHS Viral review, but I'd give this like a 2 out of 10 for BONESTORM. Number 15 is Phase 1 clinical trial from VHS 2. This is just something that relied on jump scares, that just didn't use the found footage sort of formula very well. By doing the jump scares, it would, give us these loud sound blasts and sound effects, but it didn't really give us any sort of reason for why we were hearing that. We're seeing things through a point of view, first-person shot, and so it's just not very effective. Cheap jump scares. The ghosts in the movie don't look all that great either. So that's number 15. Number 14 is Parallel Monsters from VHS Viral. This is just kind of a classic example of wasted potential. They had a really cool idea, a really cool concept. They kind of brought in sort of a sci-fi element into it, and they just didn't really do anything interesting with it at all. So that is number 14, Parallel Monsters from VHS Viral. Number 13 is Tuesday the 17th from VHS, the very first one. I just didn't really get a lot out of this. It's kind of set up like a traditional slasher. It does these kind of weird glitchy editing effects, which I didn't really find that good. The kills are just kind of dull and uninspired. The characters and the dialogue are not great. Overall, this one just didn't really work for me. I didn't find it scary. There isn't any good kills. So that is number 13. Number 12 is Dante the Great, and this is from VHS Viral. Dante the Great, the main issue I had with it was it totally goes overboard with the found footage thing. They're editing in news segments and a faux documentary and some found footage. And then there's other stuff that is like, where in the world is this coming from? Who's got the video camera? Why are they recording this? And so I don't know what was happening there. Overall, this one, again, some of these that I would say most of them that don't really work well for me are at least good enough concepts. So it's like they have an idea there. It's just the execution just doesn't really work. Let's see. Coming in at number 11 is 103198 from VHS. Now I would say we've kind of stepped up a tier here, and this one I'd say is at least pretty good, decent, worth watching. So 1031.98, I will give it some credit for probably coming up with like the, I don't know what you want to call it, most ridiculous, crazy, but kind of cool uh, way to actually be recording the video. A guy, it's Halloween night, a guy is wearing a costume, obviously, and he puts the video camera in the head in his costume. He's got like a teddy bear costume, so he just mounts it up right there. And this is just kind of a classic sort of haunted house. Some of the elements work pretty good, some of the elements not so much. There are some kind of creepy moments. There's some other kind of cheesy moments. There's some CG that just doesn't look that great, and so it's just kind of a mixed bag for 1031.98. Next up is number 10, and that is Slumber Party Alien Abduction, and the title pretty much tells you what you're in for with that one. That is from VHS 2, and this one is also a bit of a mixed bag. I think there is some really effective moments, really creepy moments when the aliens first abduct the kids at the slumber party. I think they kind of overdo it with the aliens. They show them a little too much. Their movements are kind of more like zombies. Sometimes they move fast, sometimes they move slow. This one, it gets a bit kind of repetitive, but there is some good stuff to be had here. Like I said, the initial abduction is really good. There's a shot with a kid in a sleeping bag that works pretty well. And so this one's just kind of hit or miss. Some of the dialogue is pretty bad, and the acting is kind of iffy. So again, mixed bag, but overall at least decent and worth checking out. Number 9 is Terror from VHS 94. And this is the one about this extremist militia group. They're trying to bomb a government building, and they have a secret weapon, which happens to be a vampire. And they're going to use its blood because when the blood is exposed to sunlight, it explodes. And this one kind of gets some authenticity points. It really feels realistic in terms of just the setting and just kind of the overall look. So kudos to just even, casting and costume and set design. It feels like we're actually watching a bunch of radical extremist knuckleheads doing their stuff. And so it does get some points for authenticity. It's got a pretty cool ending to it as well. Overall, it's good. I had a good time. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it's pretty good. Number 8 is The Sick Thing That Happened to Emily When She Was Young, and that is from VHS. This one uses I don't know if you want to call it a gimmick, but it uses the laptop screen recording. People are having a conversation via laptop screen. The whole thing takes place on the screen, like we've seen in movies like Unfriended and Searching and things like that. Where this it's got one pretty legitimate scare in it that's pretty good. It's got really where this one kind of works is in the ending when you kind of everything is revealed and you kind of figure out what's going on. It's pretty effective. It's creepy. It's got, I think, a pretty decent practical effect in there that adds to the authenticity of it, and so that is number 8. Number 7 is Amateur Night, and this is the very first segment from the VHS. Bunch of dudes going out, looking to hook up with chicks, bring a couple back to the room, and one of them isn't exactly a human. This one is, the highlight of this is in the main girl's performance. She is maybe gives the best performance from any of these 16 segments. You will remember her, and just her look, her countenance, she just sells it with her eyes and her body language, and is only given a handful of lines of like whispered dialogue. But man, she crushes this role. She's really good. That's the highlight. and the last few minutes are just kind of good, bloody fun. So that is number 7. Number 6 is The Subject, and that is from VHS 94. This is about the crazy mad scientist doctor trying to do these surgeries to combine man and machine. And where this one kind of shines is mainly in the effects to a degree, and really the overall kind of production design and the production value is really good and authentic. It gets some points too for just ambition, and it does have some pretty solid practical effects in it. Where it kind of gets dinged a little bit is there is some CG that's not great, and so it's a little bit of a mixed bag. But the practical effects that are there work quite well. It's got some cool extended takes, first-person shooter kind of video game feel to it that works pretty well. This one's just kind of a fun ride, and overall I did like it. I think it's a pretty solid one. So that is number 6. Okay, top 5. Here we go. Coming in at number 5 is A Ride in the Park from VHS 2. And this is just good old-fashioned zombie fun. A guy is biking through some trails, and gets attacked by a zombie and turns into a zombie, and most of it's told through his he's got like a GoPro strapped to his helmet, so a lot of just first person POV, some more extended takes, which I'm just a big fan of the extended takes, especially with the found footage. It just kind of adds to the overall effectiveness and authenticity of it for me, so I like that one. This has just got some good blood, guts, and gore in it. It's got a great scene, which I mentioned in my review, about the horde of zombies attacking a little kid's birthday party in the park, and it's just good zombie fun. I had a smile throughout the most of it, and just a fun time with this one. A Ride in the Park is number 5. Number 4 is Second Honeymoon. This is from VHS. This one, I think, maybe for me, might be the most disturbing out of all of these. And it's just about a couple on a honeymoon. And it's kind of hard to get into super details with this one without getting into spoilers, but really it makes the mark just in the last couple minutes. And it is just unexpected. It's disturbing. It's horrifying. There is just a really solid kill that's bloody, and it's stuck with me, and it's, I think, probably the most disturbing one, and it's really got kind of that lasting effect. And so that is my number 4 is Second Honeymoon. All right, 3 to go. Number 3 is The Empty Wake from VHS 94. This one is just kind of classic scary movie sort of thing. And what I mean by that is just, we've seen the setup a million times before. You know, things that go bump in the night. This girl's at a funeral home during a wake, and she has to be there alone all night by herself, and there is a body in a casket which may not be dead. And it's just classic. It's a dark and stormy night, and the power goes out, and it's dark, and pretty much all takes place just in this one room. Just a lot of good static wide shots that just sort of again add to this authentic feel to it, that we're just actually just sitting there watching this whole thing unfold. And it's just effective, it's scary, it's creepy. The last few minutes of it are really great and intense. And I just think, in terms of sort of a bit of a classic kind of setup, this one, I think, pulls it off about as good as you could do. So I really enjoyed The Empty Wake. Number 2 is Storm Drain from VHS 94. And this one has just got a bit of everything. It's got a little bit of a creature feature. Obviously, it's found footage. It's got some disturbing moments. It's got some bizarre, weird stuff. It's got some good body horror. It's got just some good tension building and creep factor to it. It's got it all. I just dig this one. It's just it sort of kind of perfectly puts together all those different aspects, and I think it just works really well. Uh, the ending is really great and memorable, and I just dug it. It's just really good. It makes good uses of the found footage with, again, extended takes and just adding creepiness. Just simply going up into a storm drain looking for the Rat Man. Uh, and so, yeah, really like Storm Drain. It's my number 2. And that brings me to my number 1, which is Safe Haven from VHS2. Man, Safe Haven is so good. It's just about a documentary crew going into to this compound to film a documentary about this cult. And things get absolutely insane. And it is just a thrill ride, um, pretty much the whole way. This is maybe the longest segment out of any of these, but man, it is so good. Uh, just about everything works. It just it's right up my alley in terms. I just like stuff that's kind of starts slow and then builds, and then just you hit, the pot boils over, and it's just absolute madness. And so that's what this one turns into. It's just complete insanity for probably the last half of it. It's bloody, it's disturbing, it's just crazy. It's just really effective. It feels authentic. It's got some just great usage of just found footage of just the extended takes, and it's got a great jump scare in there that actually works and isn't cheap. And the main performance from sort of the lead guy of the cult is really good and memorable and just disturbing, and it's just got everything. If you like just absolute sort of white knuckle wild ride, this is the one for you. The final shot is just fantastic, and that is my number 1, Safe Haven from VHS2. So that concludes the list. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm still deciding on what I want my next video to be. Thinking about a couple ideas. I know that one of my most anticipated films of this year that I have yet to see is Ty West's new movie. It's called X. That's going to be coming out on video on demand here, I think, within the next week. And so I may do a Ty West film leading up to that, because I do want to review that. So that might be what I'm doing next. But yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time on The Haunted Beard. All right.